but these adaptogens aren't a food that we eat on a regular basis. They are definitely like a supplement in a sense where you're taking it in addition to, so you're not going to eat the root, you're getting it in a ground form. Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize everybody 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi, everybody, and welcome to your second 50. And I am Judy Terrell, and I am a health coach and a personal trainer and a nutrition coach and consultant. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. I work with people on emotional eating. I work with people on a variety of realms because I've gathered the expertise throughout my 60 years on the planet to be able to say that I have, the credentialing to be able to help. So you are joining me in my series of 6 episodes, and it happens to be number 6, on the topic of how to increase energy when you are 50, 60, 70, 80, and older, men and women both. I work one-on-one with clients. I'm still working one-on-one with clients, even though I've been doing it for 42 years. And, there's no retirement in my foreseeable future because I love what I do. But because I like to help people. And I've been focusing in on the 50 plus market for over a decade since I turned 50. And so I'm aware of the fact of what people, every day I hear people telling me a variety of things that they're going through, and I recognize patterns, and I'm addressing what I'm hearing over and over again, not just one thing from one person or one from another person, but like these are things that are affecting all of us at a higher level and that we need help with. And when I go, to the social media and the internet and, even the medical journals, all of which I try to stay abreast of, I'm feeling like the information is what I call reductionistic. They're focusing in on one thing and then telling you to eat like blueberries because they're really good for you. And then people hear that information and they're like, okay, I'm going to eat blueberries. And then they're not being made aware of that when you step out from this, what I call the zoom lens approach, and you stand back, get the panoramic approach. Yeah, blueberries are good for you, but like they need to be taken in a combination with blueberries are a carb, with protein and with healthy fats. And, if you're trying to eat too much of one thing, then you're crowding out other things that you need. And there's an intricate balance of everything. And that right there is a summary of what I feel is happening to us that are trying to help ourselves, but we're getting pieces of information and then wondering why it's not working for us. All right. So what I'm trying to do is to give more comprehensive approach and how to take the pieces and use the pieces, but use it in the most effective manner for whatever it is that you're trying to work on, all right? So what we're trying to work on in this series, and this is the last episode, as I already said, so there's 5 others before this one. Go back and watch those if you get something out of this one, because you want to be taking all 6 into consideration and me making and adding all 6 into your daily practices. If energy and fatigue are things that you're feeling like that there's something not quite right for you and you feel like you could be more optimal. So episode number 6, this one, I am now focusing on a group of plants. These are all plants that are known as adaptogens. All right, so let me clarify my terms. What's an adaptogen, right? So adaptogens are a family or a group of plants that have aspects to them, elements of them in the plant that when we take them in as a human, they help us to have more virility, to adapt to stress more effectively and appropriately. And because each one of these plants that are in the adaptogen family grow in environments that are very severe. Some of them are from like the northern climes of Europe where, it's harsh. Some of them in the Peruvian desert and Andes mountains and, where, there's not as much water or the altitude is really high and there's not as much oxygen, but these plants they thrive even when other plants die off. And so there's elements within the plants that are then identified through our science, and that when we take them into a human body, they have been found to help us adapt to harsh conditions and, more higher demands that without them, we might not adapt as proficiently to. Stress, environmental conditions, deficiencies in our own body, not sleeping well, a variety of things that these adaptogen plants can, when we take in not huge amounts, these are not big amounts of these, small amounts, like a tablespoon or a half a tablespoon a day, in a ground form, can help us, and the science is backing this up. And several of the ones I'm going to talk about, if not all of them, they have a history through traditional cultures, indigenous cultures, ancient Asian cultures that have history that shows that humans, throughout recorded time have identified benefits from these and taking them in. All right. And as with everything, just because some of something is good doesn't mean take a lot of it and that's going to be even better, because as I've explained in other episodes in the series, this body is a delicate balance and it likes to have ratios of things. And if you get too much of one thing, then it's going to offset the balance of something else, and that could lead to problems. So, follow the guidelines and don't think taking more is going to be even better, especially with these adaptogens, if you decide to try and add these to your daily practices of what you're taking in. Now, my other 5 episodes in the series all were about components of food, so you need to eat the food. And I was saying you don't want to take the other ones in supplement form, iron, potassium, to name a couple of the ones I've already covered. But when it comes to the adaptogens, generally the way that we have access to them is through powders. So they're some of these are roots. So the root is taken out of the ground and dried somewhat, and then ground down, and then put into a powder or a capsule with the powder in it, or steeped and then added as a tea. So there's the 3 main ways that you're going to take these adaptogens in, either through the ground root that you're going to buy, through a tea where it's been added to, or through a capsule. I am an advocate of getting the ground versions of this. You can do it yourself. You can buy the roots that I'm recommending and do that work yourself. And if you can do that, I support you. Many of my clients, and myself included, I just don't have the time nor the volition to do that. So I want to buy somebody else having done the work and ground down the root into a powder, and I'm going to add it to things. All right. But you have those 3 options as to how to access it. All right. So what are some adaptogens that have been shown to be able to help increase a human body's ability to increase physical endurance, decrease fatigue, increase brain function and performance, so cognitive aspects as well as physical aspects of enhancement? All these reasons are the reasons why you might want to try an adaptogen. So some of the most common adaptogens are the ones that I'm advocating, because they're the ones that I know have efficacy, which means effectiveness that's been shown through peer-reviewed studies and repeated measures for clients who are 50 and over, men and women. I am so excited to announce your second 50.life. I have been working in the fitness industry with individuals, both men and women, over 50 years old for 42 years, and really specialized in the last 10 on over 50. I'm over 50 myself by a long shot. And I've helped literally thousands of men and women both to lose the extra body fat that they gain in the second half of their life, to feel better in their own bodies energetically. I have helped people to reverse and eliminate health problems, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, symptoms of menopause, to name just a few. On this platform, you will have access to an entire body of resources, exercise videos, mini courses, eating plans that are specially designed for over 50 men and women, because there's special needs for our demographic. And in addition to the virtual resources that you'll have access to if you join at any time that you'd like, you also have access to me for one-on-one coaching through a group coach call every month. So you can bring your specifics and we can address those as you're also getting information that is specific to the over 50 population. 50s, 60s, 70s, and now 80s is the demographic that I'm working with. So it's your second 50.life, YOURSECOND 50.life. Go check it out. It might be the single best thing that you've looked at like in your second 50s. So there's a whole mix of various mushrooms, all right? So lion's mane, cordyceps, and reishi mushrooms, R-E-I-S-H-I, pronounced different ways. Those mushrooms have been found to be high in have adaptogen elements to them. And so if you get ground those mushrooms in a ground form, of course you can eat those mushrooms, but there's a lot of ground dried coffee replacements that are out, like mud water, that are mushroom mixes that you can then put, a tablespoon into boiled water and add some non-dairy, creamer of some sort, maybe a little hint of either honey or maybe stevia, and have a hot drink that's going to bring in these 3 mushrooms that have been shown to help increase in physical endurance, capacity, vitality, decrease fatigue, and increase brain function. Maca root, okay, M-A-C-A. You can buy this in powder. You take a tablespoon, you could add it into oatmeal, you could add it into a smoothie, you could add it into Greek yogurt, anything that you eat, basically. 1 teaspoon a day, and you may start to notice that you're feeling, an enhanced sense of well-being, because you're helping your body to be able to withstand stress, from the elements. If you live in a very cold weather climate, virility is, the maca root could help with that. Just being in a environment that's more challenging to the physical being. But more than that, more than just environmentally, stress levels that we're under, not sleeping well, the maca root has been found to enhance physical performance in athletes. It's being used as a sport performance element or a supplement now as well. So those of us who are older, every day is an endurance event. So just being alive now in a 60 plus, 70 plus year old body. So 1 tablespoon of maca root a day, you may notice an enhancement in your well-being, your ability to handle stress and being alive in your body, which is now stressful. Siberian ginseng, another root, you can buy it in ground powders. Add that. You can add these to your own. You can have tea that you like oolong or rooibos or chamomile, whatever. Take a tablespoon of these roots I'm talking about and add that to your own tea, and to get the enhancement effects that way as well. So Siberian ginseng. Many people are watching this. I'm sure you've heard of ginseng, although you might have not have heard of some of the other ones I've mentioned already. And then my next 2, ashwagandha, which is in the ginseng family, but is an adaptogen. You can buy it in powder, and then again add it to teas, add it to yogurt, oatmeal. Mix it into breadcrumbs, and then you're breading. Anything that you might bread, eggplant, chicken. And then you're getting that in the mix of the breadcrumbs as a way you can kind of like hide it and not even know you're getting it into it, or feed it to somebody else that you think might have an advantage to take it in, but is closed-minded. You didn't hear that from me. So ashwagandha root, and then rhodiola root. These are roots, these last couple that I've just mentioned, and you can use them all in the same manner. About 1 tablespoon a day is usually the recommended dosage. There's no RDA on these things. They're not indigenous to our body, so it's not like a vitamin A or a vitamin C where there's, a low level and then a high level to watch out for, which is why I'm going to say the next thing I'm going to say, if you are on any medications and you're thinking about using these adaptogens to enhance your ability to tolerate stress and on all levels and perform at your highest and feel your best, you want to always run by your pharmacist in particular, or your practitioner who's prescribing your medications. Although they might not know this, the pharmacist might know better. Look up the medical journals, go onto PubMed, find a resource that you believe is credible, and check to make sure you're not going to have any interactive effects with the medication that you're taking. That's always the case, even if it's coming from food. But, and this is, we don't eat rhodiola root. We don't eat maca root as a food like we do clams or bananas. If you're eating it in the regular food form, it's very difficult to overeat things, but you might be on some medications that you have to be careful to be taking, too much, because it might block absorption of those medications. So there's reasons, but these adaptogens I'm talking about, there's reasons why you want to look at and always double check if you're getting something from a food source itself. But these adaptogens aren't a food that we eat on a regular basis. They are definitely like a supplement, in the sense where you're taking it in addition to, so you're not going to eat the root, you're getting it in a ground form. So you want to always double check with any medication interactions, because of the nature of how we take these in, all right? And you may decide you're not going to do any of them, but if you are considering them, then always double check with your pharmacist and your doctor. All right, everybody. So this is episode number 6 in my 6-part series on what can we take in and make as part of our habit patterns that's involved in our own consumption on a day-to-day basis, for enhancing energy when we're over 50 years old. I certainly hope that you've learned something from this episode. I know that if you watch this whole series of 6, that you've learned things, and maybe, again, my hope is I've put it in a way that you understand it in a way you didn't before, that makes sense to you, and that you're also understanding that this isn't a reductionistic approach. You don't want to just take one thing and then think that the rest of your daily habit patterns can be a mess, because that's not how it works. All right. So take into consideration all 6 of the things I presented, and I guarantee you that you're going to notice an aid and an increase in your energy and well-being on a day-to-day basis. If you've learned something from this, you find that I'm putting out information that is helpful to you, please check out my platform, yoursecond50.life. It's a subscription platform with a library of resources on topics that I have expertise in, that I'm relaying because my clients are showing patterns that more than less of the people I'm working with one-on-one are benefiting from. And so I want to put it out for more people to benefit from. And that's why I put together that platform, yoursecond50.life, with a consolidated amount of information, or consolidated information that's geared towards 50, 60, 70 and older men and women. Information that comes out for younger people is not necessarily applicable to us. We're in a unique stage of life, and things are different in our bodies and in our minds and in our daily behavior patterns. So I'm putting out information specific to us. I have a website. I have on social media. You're going to get how do you access me through that in just a moment on the outtake. Please look me up. As always, everybody, thank you for being a part of and participating in this series and this episode. I look forward to seeing you on more. And in the meantime, make your second 50 even better than your first. I'm doing the same thing. And until I see you again, be really well. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to more of my resources, then you can reach me at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can go to my new platform at yoursecond50.life. That is yoursecond50.life, or at my website, www.judyterrell.com.